Derek, you've been talking about ESG and the impact it has. It kind of appeared out of nowhere for a lot of people, but it's been fully institutionalized. Can you share about the rating agencies and how that pushes ESG?
Absolutely. Well, as I said in an earlier segment, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street own a big share of a lot of these publicly traded companies. We can take an example of Standard & Poor's global rating system. And those three corporations together own just a little bit over 18% of Standard & Poor's. Well, when Standard & Poor's started pushing a new ESG ratings on state government, many of our treasurers and states started pushing back. One of them, notably this year, was the state of Utah, where Treasurer Marlow Oaks organized a letter that had every member of the federal delegation, including Senator Romney, Senator Lee, the governor, the AG, the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, basically saying to Standard & Poor's, we're not interested in having you rate our funds. Basically they gave them a poor or negative ESG score because Utah is in a drought. And the question that everybody has asked S&P that they have refused to answer is, how does that impact the state's ability to pay back their debt? It doesn't, right? And so what we're seeing is this very arbitrary rating system that's starting to be pushed out. There's another rating service that is asking city and county governments how many charging stations and electric vehicles that the city or county government owns. And they're weighing that into their evaluation on how to manage their debt. Morningstar, the company Morningstar, owns a company called Sustainalytics. They were just hit in the news because their system of rating states and other entities had a very anti-Semitic push to it. So, you can see how ESG now has become this kind of banner to push back against Israel, push back against pro-life issues, push back against the Second Amendment. Whatever it is that the left finds that they can't get past through the democratic process or the courts, this is how they're going to try to get it snuck in to behind the American people's back.
Well, I got to congratulate the Utah officials. If you get Mitt Romney and Mike Lee to sign on to the same document, that's pretty cool. And they've been pushing back. His state officials are the ones leading the biggest charge back against ESG. Talk about some of the successes you had with divestment.
Well, absolutely. What we have said since the beginning is that, each state really has to make a decision for itself what the best response to all of this is. Some of those states have passed legislation, I believe 5 states this last year. Starting with the state of Texas, of course, we watched Senate Bill 13 get passed, led by folks like Senator Brian Hughes and other senators. And it really was a great blueprint, I think, for a lot of other treasurers and legislators to work together on those states. We saw West Virginia Treasurer Riley Moore pass a law that was a little bit different than the Texas law that was aimed just at the big banks. And it said, look, if you are discriminating against our signature industry, which is coal, natural gas, and oil, the primary economic engine for the state, the livelihood of thousands of West Virginians, then you're no longer welcome to do business with our state. He's acting as a market participant, right? So he's not boycotting banks. The banks are boycotting West Virginia and then want to do business with them, by the way. And so he basically passed that law, was able to promote a list this summer that announced companies like BlackRock and others weren't allowed to be in state contracts any longer.